Well, today we're going to start making an off-road car out of this Lexus. Hello my friends, and welcome to Tom's Tinkering Adventures. Well, today is the day. I've been waiting a long while for this. I'm going to start building a Gambler 500 car. If you're not familiar with the Gambler 500, it's a little organization where they kind of do cheap cars in inappropriate places. And kind of the basic idea was you're supposed to get about a $500 car, and you do a 2-day rally, which includes a lot of off-road, maybe Forest Service trails, not so much like rock crawling, but things like that. And you just get together, have a good time. It's supposed to be free, fun, and you're supposed to be a steward to the environment, which means that you are cleaning up the area, picking up trash, and one of the other rules is don't be a dick. So be a good person, have fun, clean up. Anyway, a lot of people get Subarus and all-wheel drive vehicles and stuff like that, but the fun vehicles are the two-wheel drive cars, in my opinion. So I have located this Lexus IS300. A neighbor of mine had it. It's been wrecked and has a lot of miles on it, and it has some other issues, but it's all there. It runs and drives. It's rear-wheel drive, and it was cheap, so it met a lot of my requirements. And I've really wanted to do this for a long time, so I've been collecting parts and coming up with ideas, and I've wrangled a buddy of mine into helping me out with this. So we are going to get started on this car. And I think today what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to get some more clearance under the car and see if we can't get some off-road tires mounted. Let me give you a quick look around on the car. Alright, the car is a 2002 Lexus IS300. This has the 2JZ inline 6 engine, non-turbocharged, but it's supposed to be a really good engine. It has 228,000 miles, something like that. And this car has been wrecked, like I said. We got some damage over on this side. We got Norm underneath here. Yeah, so we got a little bit of crash damage here. This has all been pushed in a little bit. And there's lots of body damage around on it. This car has a salvage title. It's an automatic. If this thing was a manual, it would be worth a lot of money. As it is, I think it's worth a little bit of money. But it's been sitting at my neighbor's house for quite a while and has 4 tires that are in really bad shape. One of them was so bad that it was showing cords, so I had this one mounted so we could test drive it. This is like an SUV tire. It's a little bit higher profile than the other ones. But we have adjustable coilovers on all 4 wheels, and I didn't really see a whole lot else that's been modified on this car. I don't know if there's anything different under the hood. We may or may not modify anything under there. I mean, I just want it to be reliable and run well, but before we get to that point, we need to try to get some clearance. We've got her jacked up already, but as you can see, we're pretty low, and I have already got 4 wheels and tires for this thing. I'll bring them out. I only have 2 of the tires that I want to run on the vehicle during the event, but we're going to try to get them to fit. Alright, here's the wheels and tires that I'd like to run on this thing. Got some 14-inch wagon wheel, trailer style, whatever you want to call them, rims, and then these are 27 by 8.5 14 LT Kumo Road Venture MT tires. Really aggressive looking. A lot of it was for the look, but also, we want a little bit of off-road traction. And the original wheels and tires are 17-inch, and then what are these, like a 40 or 50 profile? I don't even see the size on here. It's on here somewhere. 45. So kind of a low profile tire. And when we put them side by side, these aren't terribly taller, about 1.5 to 2 inches taller, But the biggest problem is that we can't just bolt these, even though the wheel pattern's the same, they won't bolt directly up. Because inside of here, since those other ones, originals, are 17s, they were able to clear the rotor and the caliper, and these will not, so we need wheel spacers to bring them out. Once we bring them out, then they're rubbing onto here. So our plan is to try to crank up these adjustable struts as much as we can, and then also to build spacers to put on top of here. We'll have to pop those studs out and put spacers underneath there, give us a little bit of extra room, and then we're also going to have to do some trimming here. So I think our first step is going to be to remove these struts and then expand them as much as we can, and then start building strut spacers. Alright, we wrestled and got this coilover out, and you can see it's kind of set to the middle. We're going to crank it as high up as we can go, and then I said we're going to make some strut spacers, which, hang on a second, Norm. For that I've got a cutting board. It's about 1 inch thick, so we're going to cut out a little pattern of the top of this strut. It's going to fit over here. We're going to get longer studs, so that's going to add an extra inch of length here. How well that's going to work, I don't know. This is kind of some ghetto fab stuff, but that's what you're supposed to do. Harbor Freight, that's the best stuff. That's what we're building this car with, Harbor Freight. Well, here's our strut spacers. This is the cutting board. What is this? I can't remember the name of this plastic. It's a
polyurethane shit.
HD something plastic, UMW. I'll have to look it up. Anyway, so we cut out a strip of it, and then we traced out the top of the strut here with our CAD, cardboard aided design, and then we drilled the center hole with a hole saw, and then we did a rough cut, and then we trimmed the rest of it down a little bit. We tried the jigsaw, which actually cut through it really nicely, but after I made it all the way through, it had welded itself back together. It melted right behind it. So then after doing that, we decided, well, we'll just use the circular saw and make little cuts till we had it mostly cut out to the right shape. Then we drilled the holes out, bolted it to I have an old top hat off of an old shock, so we kind of just bolted it to that. Used the angle grinder with a sanding wheel, sanded it down, kaboom, kabam. Now we have a 1 inch strut spacer. We also raised these struts as high as they would go. So we're going to put this on here. We've taken out the original studs. We're going to replace it with some longer ones. So I think we were just talking, what we're going to do is we're going to do a test. We're going to bolt that one into that side of the car. We're going to stick the off-road tire on it, and we'll stick the stock tire on the other side. We'll drop it down, and we'll see what it looks like at this point. Okay, we've got longer bolts holding the spacer in there, and well, there you can see it up in there. Everything's bolted up, and our wheel spacer's on, and here comes the grand moment. We get the tire on here, and I bought nothing but the finest red anodized Chinese lug nuts. Alright, tire's on. We're going to tighten that up, and then I think what we're talking about doing is we're going to put the stock tire back on the other side and then drop this thing onto its wheels and see what it looks like. So we'll come right back. Well, there we have it. We got weight on wheels. Look at that tire. This car looks awesome right now. If you can imagine the same on the front as on the back, and I'm hoping we can get the same result. I don't know. I wasn't anticipating having this much room. I was really thinking we were gonna have to do a lot of clearance here, cutting, and we still might. I've got 4 fingers worth. We're really close up here in the front, really close in the back, not as close as the front. So we're definitely gonna do some trimming here. In my crazy purchases, I got some of these plastic universal fender flares. So I think if we do some trimming here, oh yeah, my handy assistant Norm's gonna hold that there. So if we do some trimming, we move that thing. As you can see, this part we could cut out, but we're all the way to the door, so we can't really cut to the door. But reaching back here, there's a couple inches, so we could cut right to the edge of the door area here, and then this lower corner we can cut out. And we're thinking of mounting this partially to the door, partially to the body, cutting off underneath it, and then cutting this so that when you open the door, then this comes open with the door, so it'll be half on the door, half on the body. But it looks good, it looks pretty good. So right now our plan is to finish up the other side. We're missing a lug nut on this side. A lug bolt, I mean a stud. So we're gonna have to pull that off, and then we're gonna try to build the front ones. So we're gonna get this side completed, and then if we continue on today, we'll show you what the front looks like. And man, if we can get this lift on the front as well, this car is gonna look aggressive and fun. Norman the fabricator's hard at work here, making our front strut lift. We've got the front strut off. We cranked that all the way up. We got 2 wheels on, 2 back wheels. It's looking aggressive. I only have 2 of these, like I said. I'm sticking these on the front for now. But before we finish today, I'm going to stick both of these on one side, both of these aggressive tires, just so we can see what it looks like. Well, the shadows are getting long, getting towards the end of the day here, but that's where we're at right now. We've got coilovers cranked up all the way. We got spacers front and back, and we stuck both the wheels on this side. I had them both on the back. So this is an idea of what we're gonna look like. We got some trimming to do. This front wheel, when you turn it, it's definitely rubbing. It rubs on the back, and then it rubs on this light housing down here, but I think our plan is to cut the bottom of this bumper off right above that marker light there in that little lower grill area. Cut all of that off, and then we'll probably cut up at an angle, and we're likely going to cut off the wheel well at this lip, and then as far back as we can go, we'll cut it back here. I think we can go back about 1 inch or 2, and then on the rear wheel well, we're going to cut about 1 inch off of that as well, and then part of the rear bumper, cut that off. I got these wheels. Those will go on the front for now. The aggressive's on the back. There's our ugly spare. But we have enough wheels to go around. Just not enough tires yet. We need to order 2 more tires. And we have a lot more to do on this car still. So yeah, next we have to do the trimming. We have to do the wheel arches. Norm and I went to a junkyard and pulled a roof rack off of I think it's a Lexus LX300 or something, a SUV of some sort. Looks like we're gonna be able to make it work, but we're gonna have to put riv nuts or maybe just tech screws or whatever into there. So we're gonna get a roof rack mounted and a basket of some sort. And I don't know what else we're really gonna do to the car besides maybe add some lights to it. We're looking at possibly making a skid plate and a front push bar of some sort, but this is enough for one day. I'm kind of beat. I think it's beer 30, Norm?
I think so.
Yeah.
Ring, ding, ding.
Yeah. Whew. But it's gonna be fun. Looks very aggressive. I love it. All right, the car's been safely parked down in the driveway next to my buddy's camper rig I'm storing here, but I think we're calling it a day. The sun is down. And I'm ready for sitting down and relaxing and enjoying some cold beverages. So a long day. We still got a lot to do on the car. Like I said, I still got to get some tires, and we got to do some clearancing. We took it for a test drive up the street, and we got rubbing, and rubbing ain't racing. We got to get that taken care of because we don't want to be slicing up these tires. All right. Well, if you're enjoying my content, give me a thumbs up. Leave some comments down below. If you're not already a subscriber, please consider doing so. Thank you very much for watching. Get out there and find your adventure. Adios.